If you're looking for a family vehicle that's bigger than a Toyota Prius but more efficient than a Mazda 5, you're going to come across these two vehicles, the Ford C-Max and the Toyota Prius V.
While not particularly exciting, they do present a pretty even matchup, both capable of getting over 40 miles per gallon, both costing under $30,000 while being incredibly spacious.
These hatchbacks, or wagons, or whatever you want to call them, represent the ultimate in fuel-friendly family hauling. So which one should you buy? The Prius V uses the same drivetrain as a regular Prius, which means an Atkinson cycle 1.8-liter four-cylinder. It's paired up to an 80 horsepower electric motor, and combined they make 134 horsepower, which is well short of the Ford C-Max. Don't expect the same fuel economy in the V as you would in a regular Prius. Rated at 44 miles per gallon city and 40 miles per gallon highway, it's impressive in its own right, but can't match its smaller family members or the C-Max for that matter. In a rare display of restraint, we beat these numbers and averaged 46 miles per gallon during our testing. This is the base Prius V, which is the 2. It has no extra options and costs $27,840 after destination charges.
The Ford C-Max also uses an Atkinson cycle four-cylinder engine that's aided by a 118 horsepower AC electric motor. Combined, the two motors make 188 horsepower. The gas-electric setup is mated to an eCVT transmission and is rated at 47 miles per gallon in the city, highway, and combined. Our testing has found it to be a little bit less than that at 44 miles per gallon. The starting MSRP of this C-Max SE is $25,495. Our C-Max has a few important features that the Prius doesn't have, including automatic headlights, security approach lamps, and a power liftgate, reverse sensors, My Ford Touch with navigation, as well as heated seats. But it does come at a higher price tag. This model is about $445 more expensive than Mike's Prius V, and that doesn't seem like a huge difference considering all the extra features I have on this car.
With the larger cargo area, the V is a little more conventional looking than the regular Prius, and dare I say, even has a little bit of a minivan look to it. The Prius V is lacking some of the visual flair of other hybrids like LED daytime running lights or HID headlights, and yeah, those 16-inch hubcap wheels are pretty ridiculous, but the Prius is much cheaper than most hybrids, C-Max included.
The Ford C-Max is built on the same platform as the Focus and the Escape, and styling-wise it looks like a combination of those two other Ford products. The car has slightly flared wheel fenders and this prominent grille up front that makes it look kind of like a cheese grater, but overall it's kind of unoffensive, if average design.
Inside, the Prius V is as exciting to look at as it is to drive, which is not very. The layout is simple enough and all the controls are easy to reach, but I don't like how Toyota put this band of soft touch material across the dash trying to cover some of the cheap plastic. As well, the steering wheel feels like it's straight out of a discount bin. Between the front seats is this massive storage bin. In 7-passenger models, the lithium-ion battery would be stored here because the regular nickel-metal hydride battery that's in the trunk needs to be removed to put in a third row of seats. In North America, we're not offered the 7-passenger model, so we're always left with this giant center console that's great for storage, but leaves just one cup holder. If you want the second cup holder, it's all the way on the other side of the passenger seat and pops out of the dashboard German style. Since the Prius V is designed to potentially be a 7-passenger vehicle, the rear seats are on rails and can slide all the way up to the back of the front seats. Now this is great for cargo flexibility, and the Prius V already has more storage space than the Ford C-Max. Plus, unlike the C-Max, there's a hidden storage area under the cargo floor.
Without a doubt, the C-Max's interior is far more attractive than the Prius V's. These cloth seats, for example, are comfortable, decently bolstered, and provide excellent comfort. The general layout in here is also pretty ergonomic with everything within reach. However, the steering wheel is a bit of a mess with all of these buttons on it. This model has dual-zone automatic climate control, something the Prius V doesn't have unless you opt for a higher, more expensive trim package. Luckily, Ford has learned its lesson with My Ford Touch and provided tactile redundant buttons so you're not aimlessly jabbing at the touchscreen. It really helps dial out driver distraction when on the road. Passenger space in the C-Max is rated higher than in the Prius V, but those back seats are a little low to the ground and a little uncomfortable to get into. Additionally, you don't have your rear seats on rails like you do in the Prius. There are some really shallow cargo bins for rear passengers, but overall the cargo capability in this car is really limited compared to the Prius V. Even in the trunk space, the floor is raised higher, meaning you have to pick up your groceries that much more to put them into the trunk.
The Prius V offers various driving modes, one of which includes a power button. Now, having a power mode in a Prius seems as useful as having an economy mode in a Hummer. Like any good hybrid, the Prius does allow you to drive in pure electric mode as long as it keeps speeds below 25 miles per hour and don't get too aggressive with the throttle. This is one of the poorest all-electric modes I've driven in any modern hybrid, yet the Prius is still very efficient. Why? Because the gas engine doesn't make that much power. Toyota claims that the regular Prius will do 0 to 60 in 9.8 seconds, so expect this heavier, larger Prius V to be even slower. I would say well into the 10-second range. With 2 people, it feels kind of sluggish, and I can't even imagine what 4 people plus their gear would feel like trying to get up to highway speeds. Okay, so it's underpowered, but it's also very smooth. No other manufacturer has figured out the secret hybrid formula like Toyota has. Braking, engine, transmission, everything is so fluid.
Right off the bat, the C-Max is more fun to drive than the Prius V. It's more powerful, its wheelbase is shorter, and its handling and suspension provide so much more feedback. And a lot of that has to do with the C-Max's bigger, more powerful drivetrain. It makes more than 50 more horsepower than the Prius V, and that means that it can accelerate in a way that the Prius can only wish for. Now, this means that the car is far more eager to switch between the gas and electric modes, and that can really affect your fuel economy if you're not mindful of your driving habits. But fortunately, Ford has provided some excellent driving coaches. It's very clear to see whether or not you're driving with the electric motor or with the gas motor, and it's easy to know how much more or less throttle you have to put in to switch between the 2 modes. There's also a very good braking coach, which encourages you to drag the brakes a lot longer at a stop so that you can recapture some of that energy and put it into the battery. These 2 cars are as advertised, getting fantastic fuel efficiency to the point that comparing the numbers would result in a draw. The same goes for the exterior looks. Can you really say one looks better or worse than the other?
So if things like passenger comfort, cargo space, and a lower price are important to you, pick the Prius V. But if you put more emphasis on driving engagement, more luxurious interior, and higher feature content, take the Ford C-Max. It only has a small price premium.
Neither Ford or Toyota sell many of these oddities, but maybe they should be. If you're in the market for a crossover and really like all that utility, but also want better fuel efficiency, then you need to give these 2 a look.
For more on this car comparison and others like it, visit AutoGuide.com.